Okay, so inventory valuation, we're starting out with one of the most complicated concepts that we face in this space. And we're going to specifically look at the cost method. So I mentioned retail method versus cost method. And I just want to start by kind of explaining the difference there. So retail method is the retail price that you sell your products at, right? So when you count your inventory at the end of the year, if you assign the retail price as the value, that's called the retail method. The alternative is the cost method. And we're specifically talking about inventory valuation methods here. This is separate from your accounting method, just so you know. So the cost method is when you actually analyze the direct expenses that go into developing and production of your product. So let's talk about this process. The first thing you need to do is count your inventory on 12/31. You want to be as close to 12/31 as possible. And you want to count everything from your completed products, your packaging, your labeling inventory, any work in process as well, products that are in the middle of the manufacturing cycle, as well as the raw ingredients that you have on hand to produce future batches. Okay, so you want to start by counting all of those items. And particularly, I recommend if you're unsure if something should be included, to count it and then ask questions later. Ask your accountants later, because it's better to have that number and be able to make the decision when you need to. The next thing is to summarize the direct expenses to determine the cost of production. So this is how we're assigning a value to all of those counts that you just done. So typically this is going to be your cost of goods. So your raw materials or ingredients that are going in, your bottles, your labels, everything like that. Even the utilities that are directly corresponding to your manufacturing process. That's called your overhead. Same thing with the labor, the direct labor involved in the production of your process, of your product, sorry. So you want to summarize these costs and then take it a step further to calculate the average cost to produce each of your products. So if you have, let's say, a 1,500 milligram tincture and a 3,000 milligram tincture, you're going to want to apply those costs to each end product. That'll give you a value, the cost value of every product that you're making that should correspond to your inventory valuation. That's one of the most high-level concepts. So I did create a worksheet. If you're watching and you wanted to go check this worksheet out, we're going to be improving it over the course of the next couple of months, but it's a great starting point to help you understand that calculation process. So feel free to check that out if you're interested. The final piece of the inventory valuation process is to adjust your inventory in your accounting records. Now, if you have an accountant, this is definitely something that I would let them do or ask them to support you in doing, because there are a couple of different ways that it could be done. If you don't have an accountant and you only use a tax preparer, start by providing them with your inventory valuation amount, and they'll help you understand how you should report that in your books. So that's inventory valuation. Matt, do you have any questions I could talk about with that?
Let me see here. Oh no, people just said hello. I was like the audience. If you have any questions as you're watching this, people fire them in the chat. But I don't have any so far. I'm just watching along. But yeah, people fire the questions in the chat and we'll answer those as we go.
Cool. I just wanted to check in. Awesome.
Okay, great. I'm watching.
Yeah. I'd love to answer any questions. You know, inventory valuation is one of those concepts that we see people reporting the retail value, and you know, it sounds like a complicated calculation, but it's worth the effort to do, because what happens when you use the cost method is you're actually able to reduce the value of your inventory according to the books to the cost value, right? And that allows you to deduct more of your expenses rather than reporting them as an inventory on hand.